welcome to Adobe Live. My name is Anna Daviscourt and I'm so glad to be here with you. Today we're going to be working in Photoshop to make some really cute character designs, so get ready, draw along if you want to, because this one is going to go really fast. We've got an hour here today. So let's actually start with saying hi to you guys. Hi CJ, thank you so much for being here. Hey Gary, good to see you, who I said good morning to CJ and Gary said good afternoon. Wherever you are around the globe, good day to you. Good day to Anthony Sims, who is my best friend, and he sent me a really cute picture of him watching this on his giant TV with the cats in front of it, obviously, because you gotta. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. It's the morning. Is everyone awake? At least, again, for me. Alejandro, hello, how are you? Thank you so much for being here. Let's jump into Photoshop to get started with what we're going to be working on today. I'm so excited because we're starting from a blank canvas and I can't wait to get to where we get to with you guys. So I'm going to need your help. There are a few things that I'm going to be working on today, a few characters, I should say. If you see our little edge around us and in the previous screens, these are little character designs of like animal type characters, kind of Animal Crossing-esque, that I made maybe 2 years ago. So what I want to do today is make more and kind of update the style a little bit, and just work on them with you guys, show you the workflow that I use. A lot of what I'm doing today relies on clipping masks. So clipping masks, if you don't know, this is something that if you were to say from like zero knowledge to someone who has zero knowledge of Photoshop, what do you use for painting? I'd say there are layers, there are brushes, and then I would get into clipping masks. So to create a new layer, you go at the bottom of the layer panel and boom, look at all those layers we have. No, we just need one layer right now. And I'm using Kyle's Bristlebomb brush from his paint box. And I have this kind of golden macaroni and cheese color, which I love. And this is so funny because it's kind of the color I used for the original character designs that you see around the edge. If anybody is like an OG streaming fan here, I actually made some of them on my stream, my personal channel, years and years ago. So you could see the process from there to here. So what I'm going to start with is making just a bunch of really blobby shapes, really simplified kind of things. And then we're going to go from there and make them a little bit more nuanced. And then I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. Actually, I should start with showing you guys what a just basic clipping mask kind of thing is. Okay, so we've got blobby shapes. We create a new layer above it. And say I want one of the blobby shapes to be green. Oh no, look at that. It's gotten rid of the blobby shape. It's on top of it. I don't see the blob underneath anymore. All I have to do is I can either right click on this top layer and I can go to create clipping mask. Boom! Now it's locked to the pixels of the layer below it. So it's like clipped to it and it creates a boundary for the color that we just put down. The other shortcut that I love to use for making a clipping mask is if we unclip it there. If you press the Alt key on your keyboard and then hover between the two layers, boom, clipped. You hover between and you click between the layers, and there you go, clipped. So it's just that simple. We're going to be using that a lot today because one of the powerful things about clipping masks is you can use any colors. You can go over it and create whatever you want. You can even erase out underneath and the color of that initial layer will come through. So I use this a lot in my work and it's just kind of an integral feature. So if you didn't know, now you know. If you did know, you know even more. Nail the knowledge into you. Kendall says, hello Kendall, how are you today? Thank you so much for being here and also spreading the word on Discord. Thank you for that so much because sometimes I just woof about talking about like if the stream is gonna happen, and it's very important to get that news out there. So if you guys want to share that the stream is happening right now, you feel free. You tell your friends, family, and whatever. Okay, so when we start with these blobby shapes, this is really what I'm thinking in my head is I'm trying to get out different proportions of shapes. So that creates immediately some variety in your character designs. So we've got a big blocky chunk in the middle. We've got a taller blocky. We've got a circle. We've got an oblong kind of pear-shaped. We've got a very long and horizontal kind of character. So all of these things together can make up a really diverse character squad. Of course, we could have one massive one over here. Just for funsies. You never know. You never know. So now I'm going to think about a little bit more interest in the silhouette of these characters. And they're going to change a lot. So just keep following along. So if I want kind of anthropomorphized animal human-ish characters. So I really like, say, Beatrix Potter style animals wearing clothing, very cute. Obviously, again, Animal Crossing, a big inspiration for this. But I don't want to hold myself too closely to any one reference. I kind of want to blend them in my mind and, of course, bring myself to it. So if you are following along and creating your own creatures or characters, these can totally be humans. I just really like drawing animals. Then you want to think about creating diverse characters and doing it in a way that's kind of quick so that you can just pick and choose what silhouettes really fit your ideal for this, so that you can just make one, pass it on, make one, pass it on, yay, nay. It's kind of like the what was it, Marie Kondo, who was like, does this bring you joy? All you have to do is look at that silhouette and say, does it bring you joy? Do you see potential in it? Anthony says, I am not going to say this lineup looks like the Bristol chart. I am not. Gary, you don't want to know what the Bristol chart is. Or maybe you do. I don't know. But you can talk about that with your doctor. Okay, so when I'm thinking of a long, tall character, I'm thinking maybe what kind of animal-ish could fit this. Maybe, we could do a fox. I've been drawing a lot of foxes lately, so I have fox on the mind. And so I'm just going to add some of the features that I usually see in foxes. Again, this does not have to be any one thing. It's loosey-goosey, baby, so you can really just follow your flow and your bliss. Now we can go up on this absolute mess of a clipping mask, this guy, and start throwing in a loose idea, just very loose idea of what kind of colors you might want. So maybe they are wearing overalls. That would be fun. I want them to be wearing some kind of like sagey green shirt underneath some overalls. Let's do brown ones. I have brown overalls. So obviously this character has to have them too. You see how that brown just blends into the slightly reddish brown of our character. So I'm just going to keep an eyeball out for values like that. And then I'm going to drag this down. This is already cute. Oh my gosh. Adorable. Okay, so they don't have arms. So let's give them some arms. And I honestly, when doing character design, I go for super basic poses. We can change them later. Just get the idea out. That is the goal. I'm going to give them some sleeves here and call it good. All right, cool. So we've got a little fox character. Do you like them? Does this bring you joy? All right, so now we've got a blocky character down here. I'd love to give them some legs, maybe some like medium stumpies. That's a technical term, you know, you gotta have some medium stumpies, some small stumpies, all that stuff. I'm thinking for this guy, maybe a frog. I have also been drawing frogs lately. Maybe I'm just resting on my laurels. What have you guys been into drawing lately, by the way? If you've done any repetitious things that you've just been into drawing, I'd be very curious to know in the chat what is tickling your fancy lately. Because I definitely go through stages of like, okay, this is what I want. That's what I, just gravitate towards for whatever reason. Kendall says medium stumpies. Anthony says, love the cozy fall fox. Oh, do you think foxes are very fall-y? That's very cute. Oh, wait, here. I got my colors up here. I don't need that. I don't need that where I'm going. Also, if you have any questions about my layout, whoops, I went on the wrong layer and I could tell because it was pushing the pixels out beyond their boundary. Boom, clipping masks, baby. What I was saying was, what was I saying? Something about something. If you're into drawing a certain thing, I can't remember what I was saying. It's fine. Medium stumpies. Anthony says, I drew a skull with some candles melting on it in a cute way. Adorable skull. Adore skull. Oh my gosh. It's all coming together. I'll use this dusty pink, sure. Ooh, we could put them in a dress. A little frog in a dress. Actually, I think my last frog had a dress. Let's go for... Oh, we could do something shapy, though. That'd be fun. Let's do a dress with some, like, flare at the bottom. That's what I want. Beep. Beep. And then the medium stumpies just come out the bottom. Boom. Uh... Kendall says, I've been into paper folding lately. Lots of folding paper for no reason other than joy. Does this bring you joy? Yes, Kendall says. I love that. But yes, if you're not actually a part of Kendall's Patreon, which I am, there is an awesome folding... What did you call it, Kendall? It was like a Halloween designed paper something. It's very cool. It's like the design changes kind of like a kaleidoscope as you unfold it. It's very beautiful. Kendall says, ha ha ha, no, but I made puzzle purses. That's what it is. Puzzle purses for Halloween, but now I want to try that. Anthony is asking Kendall, like the hexaflexagon? Hexaflexagon, what is that? No idea. He's bringing all sorts of things into our lives. I'm going to put this dressy frog's arms right here, and I might actually change this pink to something a little lighter so that it doesn't get lost against that skin tone, value wise. Obviously they're very different colors, but you gotta think in values, darling. If we were to turn this piece into black and white, would it still show up as a nice contrasty design? Maybe we'll lower this neckline just a tad. It feels like they were a little suffocated. Kendall says, Halloween puzzle purse. It's based on Victorian puzzle purses. Well, isn't that just fancy? Oh, also on YouTube, I want to say hello to Motivational Individual. Hey, motivated. Boom. Hi, and Juan Carlos saying, greetings from Colombia. Greetings. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, I love it. I love our global audience. Tell me where you're from. I would love to hear it. I'm thinking for this round shape, let's do some long legs. Long legs McGee. That's also a technical term. This character is a long legs McGee. And I'm going to be adding, let's see, I think of a bird with long legs on a little ball body like this. I think a bird would be perfect. So let's just do a tiny little beak coming out and a little tail. And, well, if they're wearing clothing, I want to put them in shorts to kind of show off them gams. Maybe a little bit shorter. Yeah. And again, this does not have to be exact, especially at this point. I want to, at some point, maybe soon actually, we could have a little vote in the chat to see what you guys are leaning towards, and I'll bring that one more to a finish so that you can see the whole process. I don't think I can do like 14 characters on a 1 hour stream. However, we could try. Okay, so shorts and definitely a hat. Gotta have a hat. I gotta have my pops. I mean, if a character they have the capability of flight, say as a bird, the sun's gonna get in their eyes if they're above the clouds, so you gotta have a hat. See, there's logic. There's logic in here. All right, let's see. What kind of color should this bird be? I'm thinking, ooh, maybe like a robin. They could have that orange reddish belly. And then that kind of brown on the outside. Party on the inside. That should be a shirt. Brown on the outside, party on the inside. Should it be like a... Wait, are they shirtless? No, we'll just give them a little shirt at the bottom. It's fine. Let's do blue shorts. Beep, 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 beep. This looks so silly. I'm gonna give them orange legs as well. The gams. The gams are out to play. Patrick says from Switzerland. Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much for being here. Gary says Montreal, Canada. Bonjour. Bonjour. French Canadian. I love it. Sean's in the chat. Everybody calm down. What's up, Sean? How are you? Is everybody coming from the awesome stream? There were dogs, I remember. Oh gosh, I wish I could recall the name of the streamer. I'm so sorry I can't. But yes, there was a stream before this that was being featured. Thank you so much for being here. And we're drawing characters today. If you can't tell, would their tail be in the shorts? Gotta be, right? Maybe it pokes out. Maybe there's just a little tail poking out after the shorts. This is really our made-up world, so, like, who cares, right? It's a great attitude to have. We're drawing. Who cares, right? Okay, let's do a through line of green. Why not? Every character will have a little bit of green on them. There'll be different greens, but there'll be greens nonetheless. I'm going to leave like a wing out. Wing out, baby. Sun's out, guns out. Boom. Like a little tank top. Does that look normal? Yeah. Anthony says, out of the shorts, the Robin cares. Opposite? Oh, man. All right. So let's do one more really rough silhouette, and then we can narrow down what we want to draw. So I like this pear shape. Let's do some thick legs. Again, we can always change this. Let's see. What kind of animal calls to you when looking at this shape? I'm thinking maybe hippo. And maybe, let's see. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger with our transform tool. Let's do a hippo. I think that would be adorable. Some little ears. And then we could have some little boots or something. I think that would be fun. These just like little touches of something that pops out of the silhouette makes everything so much more impactful in the end. It's something that when you're creating a silhouette of a character, I mean, I've heard this a million times emphasized, silhouette is everything with character design. If you look at somebody's silhouette, you want to instantly recognize it. You look at SpongeBob's silhouette, boom, you know who he is. He's square. He's got pants. SpongeBob. Anthony Jackson in the chat, hello, says, what is normal for this Robin? Who knows? Honestly, nobody knows. Kendall says, OMG, there were just two eagles attacking each other outside my window. Welcome to nature. Were they bald eagles? Golden eagles? What kind of eagles? I'm curious. You just open up your window and say, calm down. Calm down out there. Daniela says, hi from Ecuador. Oh my gosh, thank you for coming. Ecuador, that's awesome. Okay, so Anthony's asking, which one of the eagles was victorious? The other one, obviously. Okay, so we've got our hippo. I'm going to drag them up here first. By the way, I'm just using the lasso tool to control some of what we're dealing with here. And I just pressed F in Photoshop. If you ever want to move your canvas a little bit more freely, I highly suggest just press F once, and then suddenly you can move this whole canvas wherever you want within the space. It's just very freeing. And if you ever want the other styles back, there's 3 like styles of Photoshop. So this one gets rid of all of the peripheral matter and can scare you. I remember accidentally pressing F when I was new to Photoshop and being like, where did everything go? How do I fix it? But if you just press F again, you get back to the first mode. So then 2, and then 3, and then 1. Okay, so I want to be on 2. Anyways, those are very useful tools in Photoshop. All right, so let's get into some hippoing. I really like blue for hippos personally. I know they're actually like, whoops, a bit of a gray, but I like pushing colors to their more cartoonish bounds, if you can't tell already. But that is totally up to you. If you are following along, definitely just follow your bliss and enjoy the ride. I'm gonna give them some arms. Arms are good. Sometimes. Okay, so we're just changing the silhouette very fast with the brush, and also I'm using the tilde key to erase out. If you don't know, this is another hot tip in Photoshop. The brush tool has its own texture, right? So I'm using the Bristle Balm brush in Photoshop. When you're using a brush that you want to keep the texture of, a really great tip is to use the tilde key, because when you press it down, it becomes an eraser of the brush that you're using. So you don't have to set an eraser to become the exact brush that you're using. All you have to do is press the tilde key. When you have it pressed down, it's an eraser. When you let go, it's the brush again. It's very fluid for your workflow. Hot tip. Okay, so let's get back here. And just boop, 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 boop. There we go. I want a little bit around her belly, but again, we can get into nuance here a little bit later. I'm gonna push the snoot out. Push that snoot out. Okay, so we're gonna use green again in some way because that is our theme of the day. Baby. Ooh, green boots. Yes. Good, good, good. Let's do... What kind of outfit should this character be wearing? I'm thinking maybe a chunky sweater. That would be fun. Chunky sweater. Mana mana. Okay, so I'm going to pick a kind of orangey red for this. Again, I can totally change it up later. Beep, beep, beep. Ooh, and also because our silhouettes, you kind of want to think of the breakup of space inside of it. So the clothing is the main way that we're breaking up the silhouettes. Or, yeah, breaking them up on the interior. So I want to think about where the sweater will meet the pants, if there are pants or skirt or whatever kind of piece of clothing you want to put on there. Do I want the waistline to be high or low? And how does that break up my silhouette in different ways? I feel like most of these, I mean, the overalls are pretty high, but that's not necessarily because, you know, they're pants, they're overalls. So they're breaching the territory into shirt and pant. But I want maybe some dark brown pants. And I want to play with that. I want to just see what it feels like to have some high-waisted pants. And then we can take this red and we can just zhuzh it down and see what it feels like at different lengths. I think I like a short pant and a long sweater. Do. Anybody else listen to Cake? Kendall says, I couldn't tell, but looked like golden since I didn't see the white tails. Wait, what? Oh, golden eagles. I was like, what? Yeah, I guess that would be a quick motion for you to capture the entire imprint of an animal if they're fighting. Oh, man. Anthony says, overalls, breaching the territory of shirt and pant. You know? They're going where other clothing items haven't. Okay, so let's move on into our next step. First of all, how are we feeling about these characters? Are there any that stand out to you? Fox, frog, bird, hippo. If you put your favorite in the chat, that's the one I will move forward with. Also, Ms. Melanie saying, good morning, everyone, from Los Angeles. Or Lost Angeles? I don't know if that's a typo or on purpose, so hello. California people, woohoo! Sarah says, hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Gary votes Fox. All right. Anthony says, I'd say that's a good description. Overall. He's just so funny. Okay, so we've got 4 friends here. Are there any quick changes I want to make to the silhouettes? Let's grab that gold again. I want to make them all somewhat the same heights. I can either change up where they are on the timeline, or I could just lengthen and shorten their legs. Okay, so I think that's good. I want this guy to have shoes for sure. Shoes for sure. Or is this I feel like this fox is a gardener, so would this be like a barefoot gardener? Everybody has their own preference for outdoor footwear. Maybe they don't like it. Who knows? I want them to have a bit more of a neck, so I'm going to just pull this down here. Beep, bop. Hippo, says Kendall. Patrick says, I love the hippo, but the choice is difficult. They're also cute. I can try working on several. I just want to know which direction. If we could, like, bump one of them off, then we can choose which ones to bring forward. It does go pretty fast, this kind of rendering. You can see, obviously, this has been, like, what? It feels like 5 minutes. But really what we're doing is just working out shapes. These are our silhouette shapes. Those were put together very quickly. And then on top of that is just breakup of clothing, which is a really nice way to kind of give your brain a break. You're not thinking of an entire character all at once. You're not thinking, okay, so what's their backstory? What kind of hat are they wearing? What, eyelashes should I put on them? All that stuff is put off for the moment. What you're doing is thinking overall shape. And then within that shape, you come up with what is the breakup of clothing within that silhouette. And clothing is just the thing that I've chosen for it. It can be a myriad of things. You can choose the level of detail, like, oh, I want them to have a really intricate belt that they're wearing and it's got a lot of detail on it, and that's where a lot of the interest is, something like that. You can really choose a lot of ways to go about it. But this is my very basic breakup kind of build of things. I'm going to give them one more level of details because all these characters have some, like, at least two colors, right? Except for Frog. Frog, well, sorry, I should say two colors of clothing. So Fox has the fox fur, the green shirt, and the brown overalls. The Frog has just the dress color. So what I'm going to do is, should we give them a secondary dress color, or should we give them some, like, tights or leggings or something? I'm thinking I want to do some purple. No, blue. No, that's... I'm going to do a darker blue. Down here. And then we can have some kind of funky shoe. Maybe a red shoe? Ooh. Funk it, funk it. Beep, bop. And that's all it needs. It's not like I have to work out every single little shape. It's more about figuring out the breakup. And the feet... the feet don't have to be anything. It's fine. Okay, I'm gonna take your votes into consideration. So, we've got Fox, we've got Hippo. I think we'll move forward with those two. And Anthony says that my backstory is solely based on eyelashes. What eyelashes I put on every day, just like Madame Medusa from The Rescuers. Have you guys ever seen The Rescuers? Because that reference is quite visceral. Oh, man. Oh, Sinead says second dress color. Okay. All right, real quick, I'm just going to add, because I had an idea for what I wanted. Just a little beep bop. It almost looks like they're wearing pants underneath, so maybe I will just go back to green with that. Wah. Boom. Womp bomb boo bop. Womp bamboo. Okay, so we like Hippo and Fox. Let's just... I'm going to select both of them. Whoops, I didn't press shift. There we go. Oh, I didn't press shift again. I pressed caps lock. Good job, Anna. Okay, so we can do Control J to create a new... Oh, wow. Look at that. So that's our colors unclipped from our layer underneath it. So if you unclip them, it's just a mess, which is kind of fun to look at. I like it, but it's definitely not what I wanted. So it just instantly cleans up those characters and also allows me the freedom to just like paint in big swashes, which I find really useful when trying to stay loose with your characters. Okay, so what I'm going to do is copy the clipped layer as well. Clip it again. And now we just have these two. Boom. Okay, so what I'm going to do is work on their details a little bit more. Okay, so one thing that I want to try is adding a secondary layer of color effects. So this is... Sorry, they're saying that unclipped and unhinged in the chat. Okay, so I'm creating a new layer. This is my favorite way of adding nuance to color in Photoshop. So I have a blank layer that is clipped onto the previous two layers, and I'm going to turn it to soft light. This is a blend mode that you can adjust in the layers panel. It's right at the top. So if I turn this layer to a soft light blend mode, then it creates this really cool interaction with the colors. So I have that pink color from the dress earlier, and I'm just going to put some random swashes of color over these two characters. Just whoosh, 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 whoosh. I'm going to start with Fox. I'm going to work on Fox first. So we're going to get really in here. And I'm going to just go through some really bright, fun colors and put them over top this character so that there can be a little bit of variation. And I like to do this early on as well as later on because I feel like doing it early, sometimes random bits of color will still show up from this stage, even though we're going to change a lot about this character. But the fun thing is the early marks can really make a difference later on. Never underestimate the power of just some abstract influence early on in the process, and then later on you're going to see that, wow, that stuck around or informed something that we did later. CJ says, psh, 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 psh. Was that a good reading? Did I pronounce that correctly? Jack Watson in the chat. Hello, Jack. How are you? Good morning. All right. So, one thing that I'm going to do is start cleaning up the silhouette a little bit because, oh my gosh, it's messy. So we can just come in here and really decide some of our secondary shapes. And if I ever want to, I can always grab that original gold color by just turning off the clipping layer and then turning it back on. Whoops, I'm on the wrong layer. Okay, working into that silhouette, I can add some detail shapes and nuance here very quickly because we have the clipped area and it's not affecting any of the colors that we have going on. So that's really helpful. It's really just the shape. And isolating it like that, I don't know if you guys are used to doing character designs or just working in art professionally especially, but especially if you have to do or choose to do a lot of designs all the time, if you're learning or if you're just pushing yourself to do a challenge or anything like that, it can be really it's a lot of weight to think about all of the things that you would put into a character design at the beginning. That is something that can be a bit daunting. So limiting it down to, okay, first I'm going to work on silhouette. Second, I'm going to work on secondary shapes. Then I can work on something that's not a blank canvas. I have something to go off of. That is invaluable as an artist. So clipping masks really help with that. I think I also remember, I think there was an article possibly in Create Magazine that Sid Weiler worked on, and they said that clipping masks were just integral to their work. So that's one of those really good examples of how to use it. Because if you've ever seen Sid's work, it's amazing and very, very dependent, I would kind of say, on clipping masks being a use. It's almost like if you were to create collages, but you also get to decide what's on the paper. So with a collage, you could cut out whatever shape you want, say of a magazine illustration or something like that. You clip out the shape, but you don't get to choose what's necessarily on it, unless you paint it yourself. That would be cool too. You could paint your own work and then cut it out too. CJ says sound effects make for better art. It's a scientific fact. It truly is, I have to say. All right, so what I'm going to do is go back into our clipped layer underneath all of this mishmash of color. And I'm going to add some detail of secondary colors in the fur because foxes are not just this flat red-brown. And you can already see how that soft light layer is informing the colors of the ears. Look at how much it changes that. Oh, so cool. And again, since I've been drawing foxes a lot lately, I know somewhat about their fur patterns. So that's something that like is in my brain right now. Don't assume that I don't use reference because I do. I use reference a lot. And I would highly recommend, especially if you're drawing animals, just a quick Google. It does not have to take long or be this big arduous process. It can just be, what does a fox look like? Or as I like to put it, fox, animal. And again, if I'm selecting colors underneath this, it can be informed by the soft light layer on top of it, and I don't mind that. I don't mind at all. I kind of like how it changes the colors. But just keep in mind that that is something that's happening. So if you ever feel like, I'm just not getting the right colors, maybe it's because of the soft light layer over top. I'm going to also add a little bit of cream under here because they have this kind of cream or white belly and the under part of the face. Also in the ears, but I don't know. I kind of wobble back and forth about how stylized I go with animals because I feel like you could really go full force stylized and just be like, yeah, the ears are darker. It's really up to your just creative vision, whether you want another layer of detail to show that like there's inner ear here. I think I want to just leave them dark because I feel like that's just, it's fun to me. I like dark little triangles at the top of their heads. And that's a fact. Oh yeah, and then of course, you have to have the end of the foxtail. Come on. Have you even seen Fox and the Hound? You gotta have the tail. All right. So now that we've got a little bit more detail on the fox itself, we could go in here and clean up just the tiniest bit, our overalls. It's basically just like step by step what's bugging you the most and then fix that. That's kind of how I'm feeling right now, where it's like, okay, so now that the fox is a little bit more finished, it feels like the clothes are a little bit more or less finished. And go back in, get that gold, and push out this shoulder a little bit because it's just bugging me how the clothing is meeting the fox. Does that make sense? Gary says the layer blending is very nice. Thank you. Yes, that blend mode is my favorite. Soft light, it's so good. CJ asks a very important question, which is, what does the fox say? Do 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 do. Peter says, wait, what's the animal reference? I just Google fox. That's it. That's all I really Google. Sometimes if I'm not getting the picture results that I want, I'll go to a site like Pinterest or something like that. You can go anywhere for reference, really, as long as it feels like what you're looking for. So I would just recommend looking up any kind of reference, or maybe starting with reference. Maybe if you're feeling a little uninspired lately, you can just peruse the intranets, or you could go outside. There are so many points for reference, and it really just doesn't matter where it's coming from, just that you get it, basically. Because working without reference will always be a little bit harder and usually a lot bit worse in terms of like how much information you're putting in that feels right. I'm just gonna have that hand overlap a little bit because I want it to not feel so awkwardly out. All right, so now, well, as long as we're thinking about pose, do we like this pose? Do we want to change anything about it? I don't mind it, but maybe we could work on the arms a little bit. Beep. It really doesn't matter what color I'm using underneath for the clipping mask, but I do like that gold, especially if it accidentally shows through, so I like to go back and select what it is. Anthony says, yeah, go outside, go to the zoo, museums, libraries. Thank you for the ideas. Yes, especially if you are feeling a little bit demotivated, then go find a place that you enjoy being at, and I promise something about it will spark in you, and it will just be like, oh, that plant is so beautiful, I want to draw it. And then your only job is to not say no. Just go with the flow. Whatever you have emotionally reacted to, engage with it. Peter says, I thought you had a specific reference. Gotcha. I'm doing a series of children's book featuring a beagle dog. That's awesome, Peter. Congratulations on doing a book. Books are really big undertakings, but so rewarding, and beagle dogs are adorable. I remember reading, oh gosh, Shiloh was one of the like mainstay books as a child that had a beagle. There were a lot of beagle books that were like middle grade novels, I'd say, that I had. But the only picture book I remember that was beagles was like Spot. Was Spot a beagle? Spot the dog. Let's actually, sorry, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with the arms. I'm thinking maybe a watering can could be in here. Whoop. That's a watering can. Don't you know? There's gotta be, see, this is where I need reference of like, what does a watering can look like? Something like that. Again, the Animal Crossing one is an elephant, so like, just draw another animal. Okay, so, oops. Outside my bounds. And then, let's put one hand on the hip. Hand on hip. The sooner you figure this stuff out, like, posing is something that is better handled fairly early on so that you can just go correct the stuff in the clipping mask. Like right now you can see the colors are all over the place. So I would highly recommend or encourage that you figure out the posing once you have a really loose lay-in of what the character could look like. And posing, again, it doesn't have to be this big to-do. It doesn't have to be like a major action pose unless you want it to be. If that's your goal, go for it. But for me, I'm just doing kind of basic poses because I like the characters to stand out. I don't need them to be doing any crazy cool actions. But again, it's all up to you. Okay, so we're gonna go in here with the brown, the green, the red. I want the sleeves to go like 3/4 down. There we go. All right, and then we just have this zoop zoop fixed up. Is there a particular color we should use for the watering can? What if we borrowed from our hippo friend and we just said boom, 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 boom? Yeah. All right, so we've got a really loose idea of what our fox character could look like. I hope this helps with some character design process for you, because this definitely is a big part of my character design process, is what you've just seen. It's basically working in paint. I know a lot of people, and myself included, sketch out what they want for a character design, but it doesn't always have to be sketches. Sometimes you can work in color and value and blob things out. I'm going to go a little deeper on the sides because I think that's what overalls do. Okay, so that's going to be the start of our Foxy Fox. Now, let's go over to our hippo friend and work on them for a little bit. Anthony Jackson says, a book I have as a reference is The Big Book of Drawing Animals, which goes deep into the basics of drawing cool animals. That is awesome. Yes. Oh, and Kendall says, I need to get back into Animal Crossing, which again, that's also reference. It is already designed animals, but you can reuse reference from anywhere. Okay, I don't think we've added as many colors to our hippo, so let's just go do that again. So we have, once again, our soft light layer is at the top, and it's clipped to the rest of our layers underneath. So again, from the bottom, we've got a golden layer that is just basic paint on canvas. Then on top, we've got clipped the breakdown of the skin color, the clothing colors. And then on top of that, we've got a soft light blend mode layer, and it's clipped to all of those. Also, hot tip, if you add a layer and you want it to automatically be clipped to the layers below it, again, you can hover between it, pressing Alt and then click, or you could just drag the layer in between two clipped layers and it's clipped. And we could change around the order of all these layers anytime by just clicking and dragging. So, quick, easy things. All right, so I'm going to use some yellow in here. I'm going to try some blue. Oh, yeah. It could be dark, it could be light. It'll all interact differently. And with different colors, you can see what it's doing on the red and on the blue is dramatically different. I'm going to go for some green. Zoop, zoop, zoop. And a little bit of purple. Zoop, 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 zoop. Now that we've zooped, actually I want to add a little bit of rosiness on the cheeks and on the nose right here. Maybe the ears too. Adorable. And the paws. Paws? Hands? What do hippos have? Hooves? Kendall says, OMG, cutest fox. Thank you! Oh, I love foxes. Actually, my next Patreon sticker is going to be a fox. I'm very excited about it. Just painted it last night. Okay, so I'm going to get that gold color. And whoops, I turned our other friends on. Get out of here. Don't you know we don't want you anymore? All right, going to the base gold layer, and I'm going to chonk out the sweater a little bit. I want it to be slightly bulky. Beep, beep, beep. Beep, beep, beep. I've also been crocheting lately. This is a hobby that I have. And so chunky sweaters have a special place in my heart. Ooh, I actually like the gold on the sleeve there. I might have some like gold touches on this sweater. That would be fun. This hippo is out for a day at the pumpkin patch or the tree farm or something fun like that. Some kind of outdoor activity. Don't you think? Ooh, maybe they're meeting Fox for like a little garden date. How fun would that be? Adorable. Adorable. So hippos have the most adorable little ears. Again, I know this because I've referenced them before. They have these little floppers that are on the top of their head, and they go when they want the water to come off or whatever. It's very cute. Anthony says watering can reminds us all to stay hydrated. Yes, drink your water. Thank you for that. I should drink mine, but I'm too busy drawing. We only have an hour. But I promise after that hour is up, I will chug. Robert says, hi, Peter. Hi, Peter. Everybody say hi to each other. And Peter, awesome job working on a book. If you have any questions, I don't know if that's weird to ask, but I work on books too. We can talk about it. Not saying that I have the answers and you have the questions. If you have any answers, hey, tell me, please. What are books like? What are books? Kendall says, I want to see a hippo this December when on safari. Are you going somewhere for safari? Oh my gosh. That's awesome. Yeah, you should see a hippo. As if I have authority over that. Okay, so I'm going to bound out this belly a little bit because I feel like I want this hippo to have a bit more of a belly. Is this the brown? Yeah, that's the brown. Okay. So, I don't know if that's the right belly shape, but we'll figure it out. There's not much informing it, so we could use line to separate this stuff. There are no rules, like I was saying before, like, oh yeah, you can use value, you can, instead of line, you can just as easily go to line again, or for the first time, or whatever. Like, there is no rule that you have to use one or the other. And I see a lot of artists talk about that, where it's like... I want to do lineless art. I want to do line full art. And it's not one or the other. You can do whatever you want. There is no limit. Even within, I've heard this with like trying to get work professionally. Within children's book illustration, there is a plethora of variety. It's not something where, oh no, I did one thing in one style and forever I have to work in that style. No, there's a lot of freedom. You can just basically follow your bliss. And that is, I think, one of the most important things to keep as you go into the professional world is the idea that that you have your own style that's dictated by you and no one else. Beep. That being said, of course, you can change it for what clients want. But I'm also saying when you're creating work for yourself, don't limit yourself. Okay, so for hippos, I think I'm going to make this nose bit a bit darker. This is just stylistically for me. Zoop, zoop, zoop. I'm going to make my brush real big so I can just swash it on. I'm going to go for darker ears as well. And then I'm going to go much darker and a little bit cooler, so towards that purple edge. I'm going to just put a little eye in there. And maybe a little smile. Maybe a little nose action. Cute. Cute, cute, cute. Oh my gosh, you're adorable. Should we add eyelashes now? We could, but also we don't have to. Okay, thank you, Robert, for reminding me. 7 minutes left. Okay, so we have to make some dramatic things happen. Let's add one more layer above this. Let's clip it by hovering between with Alt. And I'm going to, real quick, just add a little bit of line. A little bit of la line. I'm going with a dark red, and I'm going to define out a little bit of this sweater, because again, I've been crocheting, so I feel like it would be real fun to add a little bit of a flair of, what do you call it? Fiber arts knowledge. So if I wanted to bring that gold in for some designs, let's do little triangles on the sleeves. I love that. Beep, beep, beep. And then let's do diamonds down the front. We could see it as like, those are half diamonds on the sleeves. And then a fun thing we could do is go in on the, it's running into this a little bit too much. Okay, there we go. We can go into the soft light layer and create some pattern of like a woven texture. Anna accidentally calling me out on my crocheting my sister's Xmas gift from last year. You should crochet everything, Kendall. Okay, so I'm going to go for like a light purple pink. Yeah, that shows up pretty well. And I just want to real quick add some little chevron V's. That's like a common shape in knitting. Now, I am not a knitter, so don't come for me. But this is what I see in my reference. I do love the look of knitting, though. If you are a knitter out there, I admire your skill. Crocheting is, as everybody says, easier. So I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, then I'm down for easier. I really enjoy it. Anyways, okay, so you can see how those little touches of pattern and like detail can add so much interest to a piece. So just adding that along the cuffs and things like that, little lines. It really helps to have a brush that's this textured as well. Remember, this one is Kyle's Bristle Balm brush, and it adds so much interest. On this side, I'm going to go a little bit darker and see if that gives a fun little effect over here. Because sometimes switching up, if you're going lighter than the value and darker than the value, can add a lot of interest as well. And again, there are no rules. You could even, you could make this layer that I'm painting a normal layer instead of making it on the soft light blend mode. And then you could clip onto that and paint a bunch of different colors so that all of the little knitting marks have their own little color. And then you could make it into a soft blend mode. Soft blend mode. Wow, I talk good. Kendall says, honestly, I found crocheting harder because I'm bad at remembering how many stitches I've done. Yep, it's always a challenge. There we go. There we go. Also, just thank you so much for hanging out today. I know we're almost at time, and it always flies by because you guys are just so much fun to hang out with, and it's really just a blast to design characters. I would really encourage you to try this for yourself, even if you're not going to use it in your own work or whatever. I just want you to try it so that you can feel how fun it is. So we've got our hippo friend and we've got our fox friend that are both kind of a little bit away from being done, but you can definitely see where we're going with it and what kind of details we could add, like little shoelaces. And I would encourage you to try out clipping masks and just trying out character design, because that is the real fun part of today. Is that we just made characters that didn't exist before. Kendall says, I'm finishing my New Year's resolution the last 2 months of the year. Congratulations. That's awesome. Oh, Emma says, cute hippo. Thank you. Thank you so much. Marcos voted for hippo and says, greetings from Costa Rica. Hello, greetings. Anthony says, good luck, Kendall. I'm looking forward to watching it when it's finished. Oh my gosh. Oh, you're doing the blend mode class for Skillshare. That is awesome. Congratulations. Do that. Beep, 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 beep. Little blushy, little blushy. This guy is so cute. And I have this layer of like lines on top. I can go in here and paint in whatever I want. So if I feel like this green is taking over a little bit too much, I can come in with whatever color I want. Also, another hot tip, if you are painting and feel like you just want to flow with all of the colors that are in the piece already, if you press Alt while hovering over the piece, you can select whatever color is under your brush. All you have to do is tap it. And so you can just drag around all the colors that are already in your piece. And you can even put a swatch to the side and select from those. The possibilities are truly endless. All right, so we've got all these colors and all these details to play with, to finish up these characters, to refine some of the edges, and to give a name. We have to name this character. Quick, we have like 1 minute left. Let's talk about what name this character has. Hammy the hippo, Hilda the hippo, Horace the hippo. Obviously, it's got to be an H name. Hula. Henry. Who's wearing this sweater? Anthony says Frog the hippo. That's hilarious. I love it. All right. I'm down for Frog the Hippo. Are you guys? I know we're just going to get a bunch of votes. Fred says A Brown. Brem says I love the hippo. Thank you so much. Hank the hippo. Okay, that's really cute. Well, with that being said, we've got our hippo friend and our fox friend. Let's say Frog the fox and Hank the hippo. I think that's great. These friends are amazing. I love them. And they love you. Thank you so much for being here to create them in Photoshop today. It's been a ball. Remember that there are a ton of great shows coming up on Adobe Live, so stick around for those. There's one right after me, so you should check it out. And thank you again for being here. It was a blast. I hope you have a great rest of your day from wherever you are. And world peace, baby. All right, see you again soon. Bye.